There isn't much left to be said about the Dark Souls games. It has a huge fan base with over 9 million copies sold between Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Demon Souls, the PS3 exclusive that a lot of people kind of forgot about. Salt and Sanctuary, from developer and publisher Ska Studios, is best described as Dark Souls Lite, but in the best of ways. Setting the player on a ship transporting a princess to safety from unknown evil forces, you're given the choice of playing one of 8 characters right before pirates board your ship, jack your crew, and knock you the hell out. The classes include the well-balanced knight, the heavily armored paladin, the somewhat confusing chef, a cleric, which is basically a white mage, a mage, which is kinda like a black mage, the sneaky and quick thief, the whip-wielding hunter, and the grossly under-equipped pauper. There's a lot of classes to choose from, but each of them is versatile in their own way. Salt and Sanctuary borrows a lot of elements from the Dark Souls games, but one of the ways it differentiates itself from its 3D inspiration is the upgrade system. In Dark Souls, the path to multiclassing is a convoluted mess that could end up with your character being more jacked up than a bowl of brownie mix. Salt and Sanctuary makes expanding your class as easy as connecting the dots, literally. The game features a simple yet effective sphere grid like skill tree in the vein of games like Final Fantasy X or Path of Exile, allowing players to dabble in other classes at the cost of more focused leveling options for their desired class. Other elements that Salt and Sanctuary shares with the Souls games is difficulty. This game is not easy at all. Most enemies are easy enough to figure out, and once their patterns become muscle memory, you can take them out with relative ease. Where the game becomes hard is the false sense of mastery you'll achieve every time you've traversed an area more than once and run into the same monsters over and over again. Complacency is the biggest killer in Salt and Sanctuary. Just when you think you've got a grip on the situation, you'll slip up and pay dearly, repeatedly. Enemies range from your average undeadish goons to the fearsome Kraken. The Kraken are the boss monsters of the game, and each of them is taking a different shape in order to make your life a little less easy. From the Sodden Knight to the Kraken Worm, until you finally face the unspeakable deep who sank your ship and landed you on the island where the princess was lost in the first place. Each of the bosses gets more and more difficult until you finally face off against, well, the boss of bosses. All in all, Salt and Sanctuary is a great game that will test your skill and your patience in equal measure. If you're a fan of the Dark Souls games and like a good challenge, then Salt and Sanctuary is right up your alley. It's currently available on Steam and PS4. For more reviews and other videos, make sure to check out our other content over at youtube.com/reflectiveriot.